to my mind, the anti-brigade got more publicity than the people who were in favour of the development at Kishorn, because it certainly brought prosperity and a lot of work to the people. Some men who had to go away from home to work, they came back here. There were quite a number who were at sea, and they came back and were employed at Kishorn. And we all benefited, all the shops and the hotels, and
from women, it's unbelievable.
there was
nothing whatsoever to do with going to booze with men.
Makes you homosexual.
All you're going to do.
some trouble, but that's what got into the newspapers. And when you think of the number of people who were over there at one time, 4,000 working, certainly they weren't all working together. They worked on shifts, and there were so many off one week. They were 2 weeks on, one off or something. But I think the disturbance was very little.
What about the ordinary person? You mentioned like the shops and the businesses. I can see that they would do quite well. But what about the ordinary people?
Well, a great deal of the housewives here, the ordinary housewives who had never gone to work, they got work at Kishorn. They didn't work full-time. Perhaps they worked, say, 9 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. They were in the canteens, in the offices, cleaning the cabins where the men stayed. And it certainly brought a lot of money into the place. And people were much better off than they had been for a long time.
We tried out for development for many, many years. The island problem, something we lived with. That's the problem of depopulation, people leaving. And we tried for many generations to do something about it. And we always had this exodus of our cream going away. So, of course, when this did arrive, it was the only thing that we then, as I said already, it wasn't what we would have opted for. It was too big, entirely out of keeping with the character nature of the area, but still we had to take it. And I would certainly say if you have any alternative to it, well, that would be better. You've got to pick the alternatives, but if not, then you've got to espouse this as best you can.
I suppose it just had to come, but and it has given work to people, local people, brought them back. Those that had left home and gone elsewhere, it's brought them back to the place. But at the same time, I don't like to see so much change round about. I was born and brought up in Kishorn, and the whole atmosphere of the place has changed over the last few years.
It may have altered it while the people were there, but I think since the people left Kishorn, Lochcarron has gone back more or less to what it was previously. I mean, it reverted back very quickly, I think, to just what it was before.
That's a problem in its own right, isn't it? It seems as if people who maybe came in now are left unemployed.
Well, some of them have been unemployed, but they seem to have been happy to be unemployed, hoping that there's going to be another platform to be built at Kishorn, and sort of hanging on until the spring in '79, when they thought there was another order coming out. And then last winter, they were making a new road through Lochcarron, widening the road. So some of those locals who had been working at Kishorn and lost their jobs there were able to get a job there.
You get some sense of feeling that people are just kind of waiting for the next big ship to come in.
Yes, well, true. There has been this feeling all winter that people have been waiting for the next order, and I think if there isn't a big order for Kishorn, there's going to be an awful anticlimax, sort of, and I just don't know what people are going to do. They will have to go away. The men will have to go away to work, because there just will not be any work for them in this area.
So that the problem would appear is not so much the work itself as the uncertainties that go with it.
Yeah, yes. And you see, when this job came to Kishorn first, we were told it was going to be 10 to 15 years, whereas in fact it only lasted about 2 years. And some people may not have given up the jobs they had in the south and come here if they had realized it was going to be such a short-term project as it turned out to be.
Generally speaking, they're looking forward to the work beginning again.
Do you think that's true generally of the community? There will be a sort of an uplift if things get going again?
Yes, even the people who are of the same view as I am of would like to see people employed. It's very important that they would be employed, and if Howard Doris or whatever firm would keep to what they say, we'd be very delighted to have them working in the area.
That's the catch.
That's the catch.
Do you look forward to it starting up?
With mixed feelings, to be quite frank. As Mr. Ross here says, we'll be very pleased to see people getting work. But we know the problems that we have already had, and we're expecting to face the same again.
Do you think an area that has never had it but thinks maybe this would be a good way to improve the community, lead to development of the community, would be wise to go out and try and get it?
Not to the extent that we have had it. The other thing is, if it's only a 3-year thing, it tends to leave desolation after it. We have about 40 empty houses at the end of the village. We have people who began aiming at this kind of work, and they're trying to accommodate the influx of people, and they've lost rather badly on it. And I really think that for a community like ours, what we require is smaller industry, and an industry that's going to continue. But that's very difficult to obtain.